Hey y'all, welcome back to Key is King. Today we are getting into our latest RHONY review, aka The Real Housewives of New York. We are at season 15, episode 8, and we are opening at the other end of a cliffhanger to be continued, and the big reveal, which is Rebecca and Aaron handcrafted this prank that she was pregnant by some random man. So they are picking up with them kind of off to the side, talking about everything and getting their plan together, while the other ladies are just like reeling. They're like, oh my god, what happened? Oh my god. And so they're like, Jenna, what did you say? And so Jenna reveals that she gave her the eye signal that she knew she was pregnant, and so on and so forth. So Rebecca and Aaron come back to the group, and Sai's just like doesn't even know what to do with her face. Everybody's extremely awkward. And so they're going with it for a little bit, and they're like, oh my god, like, guys don't tell anybody, like, da-da-da-da-da, like, who told who? And they get to the point where they reveal that Brynn is the one that essentially has shared this information with the group and maybe some other people. And that's when they reveal the whole thing was a lie and a prank. And it was at this moment that they had the group fucked up a little bit. I was genuinely surprised, but the women were offended, they seemed. Everybody seemed to take offense to this prank. And Brynn was mad, which was hilarious to me. Because you're mad because you did the most, and you look the dumbest. So, of course you're going to be mad. But I just thought it was hilarious. And I know people are really hating this season. People are really hating these women. But I'm here for Brynn getting dragged. I'm here for Aaron getting dragged. I'm here for whoever drives that car getting dragged. Because it is about a smooth 7-something in the morning right now. But it was so good to me because, like I said, I predicted it. Did I go back to my last video? I said this is just a plot to make Brynn look like the messy bitch she is. And I really need to work on the B word. That's another journey mission that I'm on, but you heard me. She looked crazy. So they did this as a scheme to find the leaky pigeon, they're calling it now, which I think is funny. And so they want to know which pigeon is the fattest and the leakiest. And they got their answer with Brynn. Because Rebecca engaged Brynn and was just like, wait, why would you take it like the extra extent that you did? And Brynn's trying to play it off like, well, I guess you're not boring now for at least a few minutes. Da 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 da. So, mission accomplished in that way. And I'm here for that. And so the ladies are processing this information. Jessel was like, I went through emotional distress for nothing, and she revealed that she told her mom, which everybody thought was funny. But she was making proof that, like, I didn't tell the world, I didn't go snooping like Brynn did, I just told my mom, because I was like, wow. But Erin ends the scene with saying she has secrets on everybody, and that if she really knew somebody's secret that she would not tell. But Uba takes offense to this, because she's like, you do not have secrets on me. Don't say that. And she's like, if you have secrets, say them now, bitch. Like, and that was funny. Sometimes Uba's reaction seems so off base, but I'm really starting to realize and understand that Uba's culture, like, difference between these ladies really makes her pop sometimes, because she's like, she takes things, I think, literally, as you should, because words are meaningful, they have power. But these women are always playing some stupid-ass game, and Uba's like, where I come from, you don't play games like that. So it's just funny that Uba's always ready to, like, fucking choke one of these women out, and they're always just being so stupidly humorous, as they think. But, that cracked me up, because I was like, damn, Uba, and then I realized, like, oh, no. These bitches are not even, like, accommodating or, like, catering to the fact that you have a cultural difference in understanding of the dumb shit that they're saying. So it is what it was. It was what it was, it is what it is. There you go. We then move on to Brynn and Jessel going to lunch during Fleet Week, which is something I want to attend for very obvious reasons. Although, I mean, is a Marine considered to be like a part of the crew that's in Fleet Week? Because my experience with Marines is, but maybe a Navy boy would be nice. I love the water. But they're going to dinner or lunch during Fleet Week, and it's just a reason for them to catch up and talk about the events prior, because we know Brynn's mad and she's going to drag how mad she was about this whole prank for a while, probably. But they end up talking about Brynn wanting to be a mom, because that is very much on her radar. She, I think, said she was 38 and just ready. She didn't think that she would be in this point, I think she was saying, but she was just like, I don't have much time left is the moral of the story. So she did egg retrieval in London, because they love to travel. You know, she's been to London more than Jessel. She has to let everybody know. But she's talking about how she wants to do egg retrieval and have a baby, and that if she had, she said if she would not have taken so many Plan Bs with all the hot guys she slept with, that she would already had a baby. And once again, you know I love when a hoe reveals themselves unintentionally. So the fact that she could have, if she didn't take so many Plan Bs, I was like, okay. And you're mad about people calling you like a sugar baby or something. Alright, Bryn. So she's doing egg retrieval, but as we've mentioned in my videos before, because you know, there's a few of us in here. As I mentioned in my other videos, she has this ex-fiance Gideon who she's very much attached with and talks to all the time, to the point it's like, why are you just not together then? But she's explaining how she wants to use him as like the father of her children, and that she wants to co-parent versus have a marriage. Usually people don't even put those like in a compare-contrast type of category, but she's really putting these apples and oranges on the same plane. She's like, yeah, I'd rather co-parent than have a marriage. Okay. But you know how I feel about Bryn and her mental capacity. She's interrupted. And so Jessel's like, okay, do you like see a future with this man? Like, do you want to be with him, or is this like strictly business? And she's just like, I'll co-parent. And then she goes on to say like, because Jessel's like, what, does he like, do you love him? Do you want to be with him? And she's like, no, I think he really does love the real me, but that's like the problem. And like, And Jessel asks a question we all want to know, which is, what is wrong with you? Are you okay? Are you really okay? Because she's just like so, I don't even know the word for Bryn. Disturbed is like the word that always comes to my mind. Interrupted, obviously, because she is girl interrupted in the NYC. But like, Jessel just can't avoid asking her the question of like, are you okay? What is wrong with you? You sound cuckoo. So Bryn goes on to say that she's planning to essentially entrap Gideon, which Jessel endorses because she's essentially trying to entrap Pavitt into having a third kid. But Bryn's big idea is that she's going to invite him over for a wine tasting because he's a wine enthusiast, a sommelier of sorts. And so she's going to invite him over under the guise of like wine and hanging out and probably like sex. But she's going to have a 2-year-old child, which belongs to one of her friends there, so they can test drive having a child together. And I will share my deeper thoughts about that in a few minutes, but like, doing a fucking lot. Doing a lot. Just always doing a lot. We move on to what was one quick like cut scene, and then a scene that I wish would have been a quick cut scene. But they have a transition scene of Jenna in the mirror after dodgeball apparently, and she has a black eye. And when I tell you I was gagged, I was gagged. Like, yes, I knew the ball like grazed her like, glasses and hit her in the facial area. I did not think homie was walking away with a black eye. She is like fragile as shit. But that was just funny to me because I was literally gagged. I was like, damn, from dodgeball? Girl, you need to go outside more. Like, I don't know, hit yourself for practice or something. Like, it's just crazy. I've never seen anybody get a black eye from dodgeball, I don't think. And I've played some dodgeball in my life. But anyway, it was a transition scene, not that much emphasis. I was just gooped. Then we move on to Uba on the phone with some lady she hunted on Instagram to plan a picnic. And I really don't want to say much more other than that was the whole scene of Uba was on the phone planning a picnic. We then move on to one of the saving graces of this season in this series, Raquel and Mel, which I guess that's 2 saving graces. They're a 2-in-1 bundle. But they're on their way to a speakeasy sex shop, which, sign me the fuck up, please, yes. But this is why I love them. This is why you need gay people in the vicinity. They're going to do something fun and exciting or interesting, at the very least. So they're going to a speakeasy sex shop in the good old city of New York. And they are preparing for their engagement party, which I love that. They're having a ball themed, and you heard me right, ball, but not those types of balls, because we're talking about lesbians here. We're talking about like, yeah, Aja from Drag Race would kill me. Like voguing balls. cow. So they're having a ball-themed engagement party, which once again, the bias might be alive and well in my bones, but I don't give a fuck because these people are giving me something. They are feeding me in this like malnourished environment. So they're planning, they're talking about all the details. It just seems like it's gonna be fun. They're walking around talking about their sex lives, and Raquel is not a pillow princess apparently. They're both verse, if you know what that means. And so they're walking around spanking each other, talking about details, and they just seem to be excited. They do get on the subject of Raquel's mom, because if you know from watching the show or my videos, her mom is very conservative from Puerto Rico, has recently moved back to, not recently, but moved back to Puerto Rico, and Raquel indicates that while her mom was here in the United States, she was very liberal or liberal adjacent. Like she had a lot of progressive friends, was very just involved in a more progressive lifestyle, but when she moved back to Puerto Rico, which has big religious values and traditional values, she said that she feels like her mom kind of regressed and was brainwashed into that conservative lifestyle, and that's been a real barrier in her relationship with her mom. But Raquel is bold enough within herself to be like, hey, you gotta take me or leave me, and there's no in between. So good for her, but she's kind of sad that her mom won't be in attendance at something like this, although I don't know if you would want your mom at your like ball-themed sex toy party, but different strokes for different folks, quite literally. But the support, I think, is obviously what matters, not the fact that it'd be sexual in nature. But still, I'm saying, for all things considered, I don't know if you want your mom around dildos and whips. But I get that you want her there. But I say all of that to say Raquel actually gave us something, even though her scene felt short as well. Like, I can't get over the shortness of these scenes. It's like bugging me out. We then move on to Aaron and Jessel going to some type of, it's like, if you're from Connecticut, Middletown specifically, you know Kid City. But it's like a children's museum of sorts, like a plaything for kids. But it's Jessel and her mom and her twins, and then it's Aaron, her mom, and then her kids. And so everyone gets there, they're all playing, they're happy to see each other, whatever. They're talking about Aaron's mom, who has cancer, unfortunately, and she's about to start a aggressive round of chemo that they call the Red Devil, as Aaron was describing. So I hope that her mom is actually okay. I hope that she made it through that round of chemo okay. Like, I don't know the status of that story. I don't keep up with Aaron like that. But anytime cancer is involved, it's really sad. Her mom seems to be in good spirits, although she's worried about this. And Aaron describes that how she's going to move in with her and her family during this, just so they can be of support to her and just be there for her, which is nice. And Aaron sucks, but like that is a very nice thing to do and a big step to take. So I give her props for that. And something that I obviously cannot go without mentioning is that they call Aaron's children call her mom Mima, and that's what I call my grandma, my Mima. So she gets another point for that, and I don't give out much points to her. So, although it's really her mom, so her mom gets a point, not Aaron. But they move on to the other ladies at the sex museum. So we have Bryn, Raquel, Uba, and Sai. But I thought as they moved on to this scene that they had cut off the Aaron scene with the mom and the kids, and I was so confused. I was like, what? What? I was literally beside myself. I even wrote it down in my notes. But all to be revealed, it's just a cut scene and they're jumping back and forth. I need to figure out what the fuck a cut scene means because I use that term all the time. Just be saying shit. But they're jumping back and forth between these two scenes, which I was like, okay. I had to edit my note because I'm like, what is happening in New York? So they move over to the sex museum and all the other ladies are gathering, and almost immediately they're talking about the prank and like how everything went down. And side note, I need to go to the sex museum because it looks cool as fuck. I want to go. Friends, calling all my friends. My slutty friends. I have some. So they go on and they start cutting between both of the scenes. And so the ladies at the sex museum are just really talking about the prank and how kind of upset they all are in the aftermath of it. And that it's just not sitting well with them. Jessel tells Aaron about Bryn and her blabbermouth, her big leaky pigeon mouth. And how she came back to the group and is not only telling them about the pregnancy, but went on to tell her about her extracurricular researching and snooping into Rebecca's life and the extra details that she scrounged up, which Brynn did say or allude to Rebecca's face at Dodgeball, because she was mad and she was still didn't know how to act. But Jessel gives more detail to Erin, and Erin, in her very eye-opening confessional look, is talking about how Brynn just loves to spread rumors. And she did it to Rebecca specifically in this way because she thinks Rebecca is an easy target and she's boring. But Erin is full-fledged turning this on Brynn. It's just like Brynn loves to just spread rumors. That's her guilty pleasure in life, which will come back to haunt her essentially. Erin goes on to explain how her and Brynn went to go get drinks after their lunch with Jessel. And this is proof that they don't like Jessel, or maybe Jessel was busy, but like, you going to get drinks after hanging out with Jessel, just, I'm always going to point out how I feel like they're hating and trying to like be shady to her, but I could be wrong. I don't mind. So Erin goes on to explain how they went to go get drinks and she filled Brynn in on the prank. According to Erin, she told her that she's not pregnant and that da-da-da-da-da. She gave her the details about the pregnancy and it really not being somebody else's kid. So Erin and Brynn can't seem to agree on what happened at this drink session. Erin says she's never getting drinks with Brynn again after this event. But I can agree that whatever happened at that thing is where it got sketchy. Because Brynn is now claiming that Erin told her about the pregnancy, not about the different man. Erin is claiming that she told Brynn everything, essentially. So Brynn is bringing this to the ladies at the sex museum, and Uba is vouching for her because Brynn told Uba at the dodgeball game, and now they're cutting back and they're doing all these flashback scenes of Rebecca and Erin making the plan of apparently at dodgeball, mostly everybody knew because Brynn had told Uba it was a joke, somebody else had told somebody else it was a joke, so like they cut back to the scene and everybody in the scene virtually knows that this is a lie and a prank. And we're in on it to some degree. It just gives the entire thing a whole different perspective and feel. And I was like kind of like reeling watching it. I was like, oh my god, so like this was all facade-ish, but like also very telling of people's character, I think. So people once again are hating on it. I'm here for it because this is what we got to watch, so might as well. So upon this information being revealed, the girls are mad at Erin. Like, all the girls at the sex museum are offended. They feel manipulated. They feel like they were manipulated because they were. Erin apparently had told, oh, that's what it was. Erin told Raquel when they went out on their double date about Brynn knowing, but made it seem that Brynn was privy to information that she wasn't privy to. So Erin was playing a very weird middle game. And she didn't tell Rebecca certain things. So Rebecca didn't know certain elements of this prank either. So Erin was just going rogue, and she is now the main op. Which once again, as I said, rewind the video. I'm here for Erin and Brynn getting dragged at any moment they can. By any means necessary, drag them. Drag them. So the fact that Erin is playing some stupid ass game and now has won a stupid ass prize, I live for it. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. She has now gotten the crown of leaky pigeon queen. Erin is the main one, according to the girls. And she has no idea what's coming for her. No idea. Then move on to Pavitt and Jessel, who are literally giving me 1% chance of hope. But it's finally their therapy session with their Mexico City therapist. And of course, Pavitt is just taking an interesting approach to therapy. He is eating during therapy, was like talking about like, oh, we should get tacos or something, but instead of tacos, ends up landing on chips and salsa. The man is eating chips and salsa during therapy. Spoiler alert, his therapist told him to put the food down next time, which I would have told him that at the beginning of session, but they're trying to get to know each other. He's not trying to scare him off, although they have had individual sessions before meeting as a couple. Anyway, the fact that this man is crunching on chips and salsa during therapy, I would have fucking choked him. And I promise I'm not a violent person. I just talk violently sometimes, but I would have choked him. Quite literally. Because play any other time but therapy, please. With me, at least. Play on your own time. Don't play with my session. Don't do that. So he's eating therapy, and in addition to that, he's joking around the whole time. And trying to use that humor for everything, which humor does work. It is a tool. It is not universal for every fucking thing, though. Like, so Pavitt is trying to be funny. Jessel's pointing it out. The therapist is pointing it out. And they're like, okay, let's like have a real conversation. Which Pavitt semi does have a real conversation about having a third kid. Because that's why they're there, right? He says that there's a 99% closure to the mindset on the idea. Which excites Jessel because she was like, anytime it's not 100%, that means there's hope, and I can like wiggle room to like spread that margin a little wider and make that percentage bigger. So Jessel's like ecstatic that there is a 1% chance. Pavitt is very avoidant, although he does break it down and let out the fact that a big part of his holding back or like refusal of a third kid is money. He was like, financially, it does not make sense. And like the reasons he's trying to list are kind of dumb, but I guess if you have a certain type of brain or like a financial brain, which maybe I need to adopt one, this makes sense. He was like, buying more than 4 plane tickets at a time is like a hassle. Or like, if we go somewhere on vacation now, we have to get 2 hotel rooms instead of 1. So, in some contexts, I'm sure, I'm sure that that is true, but that's not a real reason to deny your wife of having a child. So for Pavitt, it seems to be logistical and financially like based his decision on having a third kid, and Jessel says flat out she has an emotional attachment to the idea, in that she really wants it, and it's essentially a make or break and a deal breaker for her. So it, like I said, that 1% hope and seeing Jessel's excitement of what it means because she knows her husband more than I fucking do, it made me hopeful for them and it made me happy for them. So I hope that all things considered, she gets her baby. Which reminds me of 2 things. One of the reasons why the ladies were so upset at the sex museum about this whole prank situation, as Sai explained, she was like, you have 3 people in this group that are trying to get pregnant, and you use pregnancy as like a joke and a prank. So that's why they were so offended. And for that reason, I thought at first it was a bit of a stretch, but as someone who's not a woman and doesn't experience those things or will not even be in a position to experience that, I do have to say that that makes sense. Like, I can understand the sensitivity of that. Like, quite honestly, I know people in real life that have fallouts over pregnancies. So it makes sense. Like, that's a real emotional thing for people. And like, Jessel is begging for a third child and they are joking about having one. So noteworthy. And another noteworthy thing is that Erin in real life right now is pregnant. So I wonder how that is landing with everybody. And it makes me wonder where Jessel is in her journey. Because I do wish that she would have a baby. She really wants one. But that was that. Random thoughts sparked by talking shit. We move on from Pavitt and Jessel and their baby talk to Brynn and her baby talk with Gideon and, I say stranger's baby, but it's her friend's baby. So he comes over with wine and all these gifts ready, and she buzzes him in and he walks into a baby. And they're hiding under the table. And there doesn't even really seem to be a real explanation at first of what the fuck is happening. He's just like, oh, like, hey, I wasn't expecting like this, blah, 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 blah. And so he's like, okay, we're still gonna drink this wine. Like, I bought wine. When she's like, should we be doing this as we're babysitting? Probably not. I wonder what the parents of this little baby thought. Like, either they were behind the camera in the room with them, because I don't know if I'd leave my child with Brynn, or they're gonna watch the show and be like, this bitch. But she goes on to explain how Gideon did not want kids when they were together and said he would only have a child if Brynn wanted a child. He loves his life. He doesn't have the hassle of worrying about a child, so he's like, no, I'm good, but if you want a kid, sure. Which is a great reason to have a kid, I guess. So Brynn is just going through the whole idea of, I want to have a baby. Like, she's asking him for his sperm, essentially. And the nervousness and the weirdness of all of this is baffling to me. I've officially named Gideon the Gooped, because he was like, what? What did you just ask me? Like, he was so gooped and gagged. It was hilarious. And I flat out thought this man was about to like reject her, which is like what she was afraid of. Like, I'll get into that in a second. He was so gooped that I just knew it was going to be a flat out like, you're crazy. Which he might have still called her crazy, but he was like, of course, that's a great idea. Gideon the Gooped. Stop playing. He is a yes man. And it might be because there's a camera in his face and he's on national television that he said yes. But Brynn knew what she was doing. She totally manipulated a yes out of this man, knowing that he's a yes man, apparently weak to her. And it's almost impossible to say no if you're like somewhat of a decent person in that circumstance, because the pressure is on you. Like, I'm sure somewhere in his brain he felt like, if I say no to this woman on national TV right now and crush her 38-year-old dreams of having a baby, what will that make me to the public? Like, talk about being painted into a corner, my God. And so, my real thought is that Brynn is psychotic because you took somebody's child for this, are drinking while watching said child, and literally put him in the middle of you begging your ex-fiance to give you his sperm to have a baby. Like, the layers of psychology, like in this one scene, is twisted as hell. Like, and that's what I'm talking about with Brynn. Like, she is twisted. You lied to this man about why he was coming over here, surprised him with somebody else's child, to ask him for his sperm. Like, what? Like, is anybody with me? Am I alone? Like, is it just me? Is it just me? She's just wild for that. And then, to go on after all of this, she's immediately making demands about, like, where this man would have to live, or where they would need to live. Because Gideon is British, he spends half his time in London, and then the Americas. So, almost immediately, she's like, we're going to need to figure that out. We're going to need to see, I'm not raising children across country. Cross country's for skiing, not children. B.I., you better be lucky he's even offering to give you his sperm. Like, you, She just makes me want to, Oh my God, she flew over the cuckoo nest about a few billion times. Like, God help Brynn. God help her. Help her, God. Please move on. Let's move on. We end the episode with Uba and her fucking picnic. I have to quote what she said, because I wrote it down. A good time ladies picnic. I wrote it down that way. I'm pretty sure she said that way. Please don't quote me, but she's having a good time lady picnic, and they're all wearing white because apparently when you wear all white, you feel different, feel a little godly. She didn't use the word godly, but she's like, probably they'll be calmer in white. So we have people arriving slowly, which include Brynn, Sai, and Jenna. And so Jenna arrives last out of that collection of names I just said, and they immediately, because, you know, Brynn can't let it go, and she has her surface level reunion, my God, with Sai, and so they're clicked up, and they're like, Erin fucking sucks. She's the problem. She lied to all of us. This is when we reveal that I think Rebecca didn't know about certain parts, and so Jenna's like, Erin, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? And so they're all plotting, they're all getting revved up about Erin being a shit stirrer and manipulating this whole thing. And of course, who shows up but Erin? And she is happy as fuck. She has no idea that she's about to get annihilated at this lunch. And I'm pretty sure she'll probably leave, because that's what Erin does when she's ganged up on. But the joy she had in her face and the venom she had waiting for her at that picnic was a great cliffhanger for me, because I want to see her get dragged. Did I not make myself clear? And before I close out this review, I will mention that once again, they explained kind of why the women were playing in Rebecca's face the way they were at the dodgeball game, which I also noted in my last video. It's because they fucking knew. So Brynn was being extra on purpose. Because I'm like, there's no way they're just playing with this woman like this. But once again, they revealed they already knew because of Aaron to different degrees, so that's why they were all playing in her face the way they were. But that's how the episode ends. Aaron is about to get fucking annihilated because these women are pissed off. And I can't wait for next week. I know you guys, I won't say you guys, I know some of you out there really hate this franchise right now, but I'm telling you, if you squint your eyes and ignore some of the bullshit, like most of you do in your everyday lives, you'll find the fun. So hang in there, and if you don't want to watch the episode, watch me. Until the next time, I'll see you guys soon. It's been real.